Okay, so I have made a new tactic, and this one is a diamond with 2 deep lying forwards and everyone running past them. And just to show you how well this tactic's performed, I'm going to just show you around this Schalke team. So first of all, we're 3rd in the Bundesliga with 1 game left to go. That's pretty good, but it gets even better when I show you something else. If you look down here, we basically have the lowest wage budget. As well as that, if I look at the season preview, we are 14th on that. Basically, to surmise, we're not very good. Also, if you're wondering why this saves in 2030 and it's so far forward, it's just an offline save I play. It's a bit of a journeyman. But with all that said, let's go through the player roles. Starting off in goal, just a bog standard goalkeeper. Now, obviously, as I always say, sweeper, keeper, defend would also work here. With the keepers we had, especially when I came in, goalkeeper made more sense. Next up, we have a wing back on attack with the stay wider instruction on. Something I love in this FM is just wing back stay wider in possession, and especially in these narrow systems, because you will basically, like, your centre back or your DMs will have the ball and your wing backs will be like here. And especially with how this tactic works, the defence comes narrow to deal with everything else, and those players have so much room. Now for centre backs, they're just normal centre backs on defend. You can do ball playing centre backs, that would work. It maybe even would open up more opportunities if they could take it out and had the confidence to, like, you know, maybe play the wing back who's quite far forward, or play it into like the attacking mid. But especially when I came in, the centre backs just weren't technically able to really do that. I probably could get away with it now, but I've kind of just stuck with what I started with. Now at left back, again, it's a wing back on stay wider. And again, they just get up here and it's brilliant. Now for the DM, I have a deep lying playmaker on defend. And so many of the highlights you will see, it would just be like the deep lying playmaker and these 2 centre backs back. Everyone else in front of them and the deep lying playmaker just play a ball over to one of those wing backs, and it's lovely every single time. Now for the 2 centre mids, this is where it starts getting a bit fun. We have 2 centre mids on attack. So as soon as we get the ball, both of their aims are just to run and get forward, and a lot of the time they'll be getting in front of these strikers. Then for the attacking mid, we've got a shadow striker, so someone who's willing to go into these channels and also will get past these 2 strikers. And then finally, for the 2 strikers, I have 2 deep lying forwards who still will get a lot of goals when they're getting up here and crossing in these balls. A lot of the time that will go to these 2 strikers. Now for the tactical style with mentality, I've just got on a positive mentality, fairly standard for most tactics. In possession, I've got look for overlaps. Now something I would say is I probably wouldn't look for overlaps if your strikers aren't particularly big. I think all my starting strikers are above 6 foot with decent jumping reach. But if you've got like really little strikers, the wing backs are still going to make those overlaps, and you're still going to play them in enough if you're not looking for it. Ticking this box doesn't mean the wing backs overlap. Ticking this box means you look for the wing backs who are overlapping. And for us, it's worth doing that because we've got a very big squad. If you actually look at like the comparison data, we have the biggest squad in the league. So for us, it makes sense to put the ball wider to get those crosses in. And if I show you something here, for crosses attempted, our 2 wing backs are both top of that chart. So by looking for the overlap, you put an emphasis on that. So if you've got big strikers, definitely do it. For approach to play, we also have pass into space. That's because when these centre mids on attack and the shadow strikers are making those runs which confuse the defenders, we want to play them in behind. Now with passing directives, we have it on the default slightly shorter. We're not looking to go really long every time. Tempo we have higher, because if there's an opportunity to go forward, we want to take it. Now when we have lost possession, we counter press. When we've won possession, we counter. With keeper distribution, I distribute quickly. You don't have to do that, it's just I always do. And then I don't actually have an area where we aim our distribution. Again, it's a thing where if you have small strikers, I would probably just go to centre backs and full backs. But because we have the luxury of big strikers, if the keeper decides to go long, a lot of the time they can nod it down to the attacking mid, and then we go out wide to the wing backs, get a cross in. We see that a lot with this system. Now for out of possession, I have higher lines. I trigger the press much more often, and I prevent short distribution. Now with all that said, you probably want to see the tactic, so I'm going to do a play test in our last game of the season. Hey, just before I do the play test, If you enjoy these videos, be sure to like, subscribe, because this many people aren't subscribed. And if you want to make sure you catch the rebuilds and the tactics videos whenever they come out, be sure to subscribe. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the video. Now, this last game of the season is kind of significant because it decides whether we get Champions League. We could drop all the way down to 5th, or we could secure that 3rd spot. So hopefully we can get a win here. I'm kind of nervous because I haven't played the save since last night, and we were kind of in a little bit of bad form. So I've got a bit of an issue here. First choice keeper, if you can see on the bench, injured, he just can't play. Our second choice keeper, injured but is good to play. And then our third choice keeper has no match sharpness but is actually just not injured. I think I'm just going to go with the slightly injured keeper because I've been fine with that all FM. Oh my god, I'm actually nervous for this. Normally when I do the tactic test, I don't do them in my personal saves. I'll just show off a tactic. I'll think of an idea and then I'll show it off in just like a save made to test the tactic. But this is way more nervous because this is my actual save and this is to actually get Champions League. Okay, 15 minutes in, we've had quite a few shots but we've not been able to see any of them so far. Really wouldn't mind see. Okay, here we go, a highlight. We throw it to Physical Monster. Oh, and we've lost possession now, but we've won it back. Jack Stacey does great. David now, all the way back to Stark, bringing it forward. Cameron, David, Alexander the Great plays Jurgen in behind that shadow striker and he puts it home. See, that is what this tactic's all about. The strikers drop off the centre backs and everyone runs past them and the centre backs don't know what to do. So if we look here for this replay, I'm actually going to change the camera angle. So if we look here, when the ball gets into the striker, this is our attacking mid. He is our furthest player forward. This is our striker on the ball right now, Alexander the Great. So as you can see here, like the centre-backs really struggle to pick him up, and that puts us 1-0 up. And if you look at these match stats, they haven't even had a shot yet. We're absolutely dominating this game. And that sees us into half-time. 1 highlight, 1 goal. I'm happy with that. Goossens now, down this right-hand side, plays it back, working it into the centre, but they clear the ball. But we regain possession. Now working it out wide to Jack Stacey, and we do this a lot. We just get it wide to those fullbacks and we put in those crosses, and Alexander the Great nearly heads it home. But you can see that highlight. It started on the left-hand side with our fullback and worked its way over to the right-hand side. Oh, another highlight. Again, regaining the possession with these 2 centre-backs. And as I mentioned earlier, you'll often end up with these 3 just the only ones back. As you can see here, like the centre mid slightly come in because he's gained possession of the ball. And what I said with the wing backs, look, if the deep lying playmaker, which he often does, wanted to play like Goossens in here, it would be so easy. And the defence has to stay this narrow because how else do you deal with all of this? But working it down the middle now, and we switch it over to Jack Stacey. And we put the ball in Physical Monster. No. This is what I mean. Literally, we can just get it out wide to these fullbacks every time. Ooh, that's a bad foul. Yeah, but we can just get it out wide so many times just to get those balls in. And Physical Monster, did he stay onside? I don't think he did. Oh, it's a goal. Obviously, that's not really part of the tactic. That's just a set piece goal. How close to off was it? Yeah, no, he's on. Okay, another set piece. Cameron to put it into this near post. Oh, and we go close. They've won the ball back here, and this could be their first chance of the game. Their first shot on target. No, Cameron doesn't think so. Although, yeah, that's not going to be the highlight. They do have a throw-in in this corner here. They're playing around quite nicely. We're pressing them. Ooh. Ooh, that was a good effort by whoever that was. God, look how many shots we've had talking about shots on target. 36 shots. And if you were to look at like the breakdown of those shots and where they're from, it's just a lot of headers from like around the box. Because a lot of them won't make it into highlights because a lot of them would be very tame efforts. A lot of them will be like very low XG headers. But it's just we have so many of them. Now, yeah, that's the end of this game. 2-0 winners. We're in the Champions League, baby. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to like, subscribe, and catch me in the next one. Bye-bye.